Darkseid has a sequel, and it is insane.
Introducing Darkseid 2, sequel to the CD-ROM smash hit Darkseid. Last time, they went for your mind. This time, they want your soul.
In Darkseid 2, we'll see a completely different setting and tone, and honestly, it feels more comparable to a game like Harvester than it does its own predecessor. Now, our beloved lead man Mike Dawson didn't have anything to do with this sequel. In fact, it's almost entirely a new team. So who the hell wrote this incredible story? Raymond Benson, a guy whose credits mostly consist of writing James Bond novels. At the time, he was apparently taking any job he could get and jumped at the chance to work on Darkseid 2. Raymundo and the new team taking over Darkseid wanted to shift the story towards a much more Twin Peaks direction, and they certainly succeeded. Despite Cyberdream's employee Mike Dawson no longer working for the company, Mike Dawson, the character, remains. It's kind of weird to imagine someone creating a character that is literally just them, only to see that character played by someone else in a sequel. The one cohesive thing that ties these two games together is the prevalent use of H.R. Giger's artwork. But we covered all of that in the previous video, so if you haven't seen that, check that out first. Also, apparently a lot of you refuse to believe that it's pronounced Giger, not Geiger. I have terrible news.
Based on the fantastic artwork of Academy Award-winning artist H.R. Giger.
Go on, be honest. If you were part of the Geiger gang, you have to leave a comment.
Darkseid 2 is a nightmarish adventure you'll never forget. Are you up to the challenge?
Unforgettable it is indeed. Let us embark on another journey together with Mike Dawson, the man with the sexiest forehead.
Rita! Where are you?
In the game's opening, Mike is caught in an alien labyrinth, searching frantically for a woman named Rita.
Help me, Mike. Help me, Mike.
It's the same dream, night after night. I'm searching for Rita in the dark world, but something unspeakable starts chasing me. I never make it back through the portal in time.
The events of the first game caused Mike to have a complete mental breakdown. He was forced to move away from the spooky old house and back into his childhood home with his mother. It has been a full year since the incident with the mirror, but as is a protagonist's curse, things can't stay peaceful for long. A murder has shaken the town, the murder of a woman named Rita Scanlon. She is a librarian, but not that librarian. Mike just likes hanging around librarians, I guess.
Come in. The door's open.
Your mother let me in, Dawson. I had some more questions to ask you about the murder.
Just before the murder, Mike and Rita were together at a high school reunion. Apparently, Mike was the last person to see her alive, and some people noticed him arguing with her just before she went missing. He also seems to have developed amnesia for that night. That's a little suspicious, Michael.
Am I a suspect, Sheriff?
And we have to look at everybody, Dawson. Especially everyone who was close to Rita.
Ooh, yikes, that's a yes. Time to hit the sheriff with a tried and true Mike Dawson strategy. Bring up the headaches.
I'm getting a headache, Sheriff. Can we put this off until later?
All right, Dawson, but stick around town. The feds will want to talk to you when they get here.
That's right, the FBI will be getting involved in this small town murder. The mayor, Mayor Fleming, apparently knows people in the bureau and doesn't want this crime interfering with his re-election. Whining about his headache gets Mike out of being questioned for now. And I'm free to snoop around his room.
I won this fencing trophy during high school. It's been a long time since I've done any fencing. It's been a long time since I've done much of anything.
A recurring theme with Darkseid 2's version of Mike is that he's a bit of a mopey man-child.
I've been afraid of this closet ever since I was a little kid. I used to have nightmares about monsters coming out of it at night. This closet has been locked ever since I can remember. The key was lost a long time ago.
It's a little bit weird that you can't use your closet, Mike, but that's fine. We'll come back to that later. In the kitchen is Mike's lovely mother. My God, she's built like that lady from Recess. She also has a rule against using the sink to wash your hands.
Mom has a rule against using the sink to wash your hands.
The way Mike interacts with his mother throughout the game is very teenager-like, which is jarring because he's a grown-ass man with a grown-ass mustache.
You know, you woke me up with all those pots banging,
Sorry, Mike, but it's time that you got up. The sun has been shining for hours.
I'm having a hard time getting motivated.
You know, Mike, you're late for your doctor appointment. You're never going to snap out of your depression unless you see the doctor. And after that, I'd like you to do some errands for me.
But I've got things to do today, Mom.
Like what? You don't do a damn thing around here anymore.
Mike, quick. There's only one way out of this.
I'm starting to get a headache. My life is a living hell.
Oh, Mike, I can't talk to you anymore. You're just too depressing.
Oh, thank God we're 2 for 2 with the headache thing working. Now Mike can watch some TV instead of doing chores for his elderly mother.
小学生たちに温かい昼食が配られました。さて、軍の反対側では
Now I warned you that this game gets weird, and here's the first unbelievable story beat. The Ancients are back, and they've taken over all of Earth's news stations and changed all of the broadcasts to the human language they deem superior. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to show you that the console Japanese dub exists, because that's it's cool.
In other parts of the country, law enforcement officials are still bewildered about the murder of local librarian Rita Scanlon last week after the high school reunion. When asked about potential suspects, Sheriff Willard Butler replied,
Michael, you and your kind are in grave danger once again. The Ancients have returned. I am sending something to assist you. You must act quickly.
Warned that this is the second local death this year, and residents should always be alert.
The Ancients really are apparently back, though. And you know what else is back? Random packages at the door.
It's a ticket for a traveling carnival over in the park.
Before heading out of the house, I tried to go to the bathroom to perform the standard Darkseid ritual. You know the one. Shower, Tylenol, persist against the horrors. But
I think I'll skip a shower today. Bathing seems like such an effort lately.
my God, Mike's really not doing too well. That is very unlike him.
Mom hates it when I leave the toilet seat up, but it's my little way of rebelling against the system.
I guess Mike is just gonna be stinky for the day. Upon stepping out of the house, it's time to meet Jack. And Jack fucks. Just look at him.
He likes to think he's tough with that motorcycle and all, but he's about the only new friend I've made since I returned home.
Well, are you just gonna stand there gaping at me, Mikey boy, or are you gonna take a load off your feet?
Mike confides in his friend Jack and tells him all about how he's a suspect in Rita's murder case. Jack firmly believes that Mike is innocent. He tells him that he ought to work on figuring out who really killed Rita and that there's bound to be evidence around town that the sheriff has overlooked. Jack is a little bit of a mixed bag. On one hand, he's very supportive of Mike, but on the other hand, he's a real bad boy. So bad, in fact, he can't even grab dinner with Mike because he was banned from the local diner for an incident with a jukebox.
This party's getting crazy.
Clearly, Jack is literally just the Fonz. He also regularly pokes fun at Mike's mental health and seems to think that his psychologist isn't really doing much to help.
You're seeing that, Quack? Don't waste your time with that head shrinker. Listen to your old pal Jack instead. Okay, we'll meet here after you're done with Dr. Sigmund Freud.
Jack walks with the swagger and confidence of a man with a much fuller hairline. Mike heads into town for his therapy appointment, but it appears Dr. Sims is out to lunch.
Oh, great. Dr. Sims is not in his office. That guy is out to lunch more often than his patients.
Haha, funny joke. Next door is a hardware store undergoing some renovations, and it will be closed for the next 2 weeks. This here, that's Paul Cooper. This is the character that owns the hardware store and is the person that really made me start thinking, you know, this game actually kind of reminds me of Harvester.
Hi, Mr. Cooper. I'm Mike Dawson. Remember me?
Sure, Mike. I remember you.
So how's the hardware store business?
Great. I've given myself a vacation for the first time in about 3 years. The store is closed right now. I'm just going to relax and water my lawn for the next week or two.
Does your lawn need that much water?
It's dry. It's always dry. Gotta get it ready. You know how it is. It's nice to have a pretty lawn. I'll have a big water bill, but I don't care. As long as it keeps pumping, I'll keep watering.
You see what I'm talking about? What in the Harvester hell is going on around here?
Lawn furniture on the roof? That's just too bizarre.
Paul Paul mostly just talks about watering his lawn, but he also mentions a second murder in town. Apparently, a Mr. Ramirez recently died in a fire, and there's been some speculation that it wasn't an accident.
Do you know of anything else strange going on in town?
No. Why do you ask? Nothing ever happens here. The town is full of cobwebs and stagnation. It needs a good cleansing. Until the murders, the place was just too quiet. It was as if the town was waiting for a messenger or something. So I'll water the lawn and get it ready. I want to have a nice lawn ready for the messenger when he comes.
All right, everyone, place your bets down below. Is Paul some kind of ancient alien or just a weird guy? Perhaps he's some variety of hologram, or maybe even a really advanced lawn Roomba. Correct predictions will get a gold star. Mike continues burning time while waiting for the doctor to get back. Down the street is Rita's house with a deputy standing guard. You can try to go inside, but of course the deputy doesn't let you. What's inside the house?
Not a thing. But we need to keep Rita's house intact until the FBI comes. They'll want to go over it with a fine-tooth comb.
Might as well check out Hank's Diner in the pool hall while I'm out and about. Hey, the jukebox looks like it's in one piece. Lift the diner ban, free my man Jack, he's innocent.
This jukebox is loaded with tunes from the 50s. Rita and I used to dance to some of them.
Well, that's kind of depressing, actually. I'm gonna talk to Hank. Hank's Diner has been around for a long time, and Hank knows Mike pretty well. He talks a little bit about what's going on in town, and he seems to think that there's a little bit of weirdness going on with Doc Larson, the local mortician.
What did Doc Larson have to say?
He wouldn't go into any details because he wants to keep certain things from the public. I haven't seen Doc Larson so excited since that other murder.
Apparently Larson had been really excitable about that Mr. Ramirez guy that died in a fire, and he was so eager about Rita's incident that he had her body taken to the morgue during the night before the sheriff could get a real decent look at the crime scene. In the pool hall next door are two of Mike's old high school classmates. Melissa grew up to be a chain-smoking, miserable shrew that apparently married the significantly older Mayor Fleming. Michael earnestly attempts to reconnect with her, but she ain't having it.
Hey, why the cold shoulder?
What makes you think you're worth giving the cold shoulder to?
Mike asks if she's here to hang out with Jimmy, the other classmate, and she insists that she's not. She also straight up says that she doesn't care that Rita is dead and that in fact she deserved it. Mike is a little taken aback that this woman who was many years ago he and Rita's friend could now be so callous.
That was a long time ago. We're not the same people we were in high school, you know.
It doesn't really seem like Jimmy is any more interested in being friends than Melissa.
Jimmy went to high school with me. He was a straight-A student and football star, but he dropped out and became a loser. We were friends then, but certainly aren't now.
I know. Asking him why he's a failure that dropped out of high school will certainly help him want to be more friendly.
What happened to you? You were a straight-A student until you dropped out.
I guess I'm just the town's bad seed. You went off to college and joined the establishment. I stayed here and became a statistic.
Through talking with Jimmy a bit more, Mike learns that he's been involved in some less than legal activities as of late. But something keeps the sheriff from taking action against him. Boy, there are so many mysteries in this town to unfold.
Tell me, Jimmy, how come the sheriff leaves you alone?
That's easy in this town. That flatfoot doesn't know his butt from an armadillo. But I got the goods on him. He doesn't bother me.
In the back of the pool hall is a little shack that serves as someone's home. Mike just walks right in.
This is the most bizarre collection of junk I've ever seen.
Michael continues wandering around town. God damn, that doctor is sure on a long lunch.
The Civic Center. We used to joke about the sheriff's office, courthouse, and morgue all being next door to each other. First they tie 'em, then they try 'em, then they fry 'em.
That's cute. Why is there a waiting room in the morgue? The hell is going on that TV?
I'd like to turn up the sound, but the controls are out of reach.
Oh, we have a hanger in the inventory. That's got to be a puzzle, right? No, it is not. Put the hanger away. Hey, so you remember in Darkseid 1 when I soft-locked myself by touching the gun in the sheriff's department too early on in the game? I learned nothing.
Oh, don't even think about taking one of those rifles, Dawson.
Fortunately for me, Darkseid 2 is a much more merciful god. Anyway, we already knew this, but the sheriff makes it more and more clear that he has Mike pinned as the #1 suspect in the murder case.
You know, Dawson, Sooner or later, you're gonna make a mistake. And then I'm gonna lock you up for the rest of your natural life.
As a master of the social arts, I know how to make the sheriff trust me more. Time to ask him why he lets himself get completely raw-dogged by Jimmy.
Why do you let a thug like Jimmy Gardner run around? Does he have something on you?
Shut your mouth, Dawson. You're pissing me off.
I think it worked. Wait, the sheriff reads girly magazines? Oh God, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to have to do it. I'm gonna have to mention Harvester again.
Wait, no. No!
The sheriff also mentions that the murder was quite gruesome. Rita wasn't just killed, she was severely mutilated. This leads to a conversation about Doc Larson, the mortician again, and the sheriff seems to hold the same opinion that he's a bit of a freak.
I'll tell you one thing. Doc Larson was having himself a field day, happier than a pig in slop. But I can't reveal details. We have to withhold specific information that only the killer would know. Dawson?
That Doc Larson's one strange guy.
Well, you know he was kicked off the hospital staff, don't you? Something about fooling around with some patient in the hospital morgue. But I shouldn't spread rumors.
This here is Mrs. Ramirez's house. She's a rich and very religious woman and the wife of the man that burned to death. She basically only rambles on about two things, going to church and boo insurance.
It must cost a lot to insure a place like this. My dad used to be in the insurance business.
I'm sorry to hear that. Those insurance people are godless swine, worshipping nothing but the almighty dollar. Why they even tried to cheat me out of my husband's life insurance. I finally had to take them to court, but I won.
Next up is a little visit to the park.
Oh my God, this is where Rita was murdered. Rita, who could have done this to you?
In the bushes near the crime scene, there's a strange rustling.
Who's there?
This is Slim. Slim is another bizarre character, up there with the guy that endlessly waters his lawn. Slim makes some strange remarks. For example, he's wearing a Boy Scout uniform, and when asked why he's wearing it, he states that it's a uniform of protection. He says that the uniform of protection renders him completely invulnerable when he's wearing it. Apparently, this kinda reminds Mike of the headband of invisibility that he wore in the previous game. He starts kind of getting the idea that perhaps Slim is somehow involved with the aliens.
Where did you get this uniform of protection?
A woman delivered it to me. A very wise and noble woman.
You're referring to the Keeper of the Scrolls, aren't you?
No. Eleanor, my mail carrier, delivered it to me. She's some cutie, let me tell you. The uniform came out of a catalog.
From here, Slim does kind of a gag, going back and forth on whether or not he makes any sense. He's at the scene of the crime because he's convinced that something big was going on with Rita.
What was suspicious about Rita?
She was involved with something. Something unclean. I haven't figured out what it is yet, but when I do, it will expose the evil lurking under this town.
Mike insists that there's no evidence that Slim could possibly find that the sheriff or the FBI would overlook. Slim argues that they absolutely would miss significant information because they couldn't possibly understand the cosmic and existential importance of this crime.
You seem to be the only one who really understands what is going on. Who do you think killed Rita?
I think she was murdered by aliens from another dimension.
You know about the ancients. So the Keeper of the Scrolls was right. They were involved with Rita's death.
Of course it was the ancients. Who else could have committed such a horrible crime? It had to be the ancients.
Finally, someone else who knows about the dark world. I can't even confide in my mother or my best friend about this. I'm so glad I met you, Slim.
Or it might have been OJ working in cahoots with the Trilateral Commission, I'll betcha. Then again, it could have been the International Communist Conspiracy. This looks like their handiwork.
I've gotta go now.
Slim gives Mike Rita's ticket stub to the high school reunion banquet. He found it on the ground and figures the police must have overlooked it. He is one of two characters, the other being Jack, that firmly believes in Mike's innocence and says that he'll continue to try and prove that he didn't commit the murder. It's a Christmas miracle the doctor is finally in. Mike has told Dr. Sims all about his experiences in the dark world, the forehead pregnancy, the mirror, the fucking hairpin, and how he stopped the ancients from coming into our reality. Dr. Sims is very gentle and sympathetic with Mike, but of course believes that the dark world is a delusion.
Voices from the dark world have contacted me.
I see.
I may be going back there and soon.
Yes, of course, Mike. But I really can't approve of you entertaining these fantasies. We need to work on your memory of events as they really are.
Dr. Sims asks Mike if he's ever told any of his family or friends about the dark world.
Yes, of course. But tell me, what does your friend Jack think of all this?
The only people I've told about the dark world are the doctors I've seen.
But none have dissuaded you from your belief in the dark world? Did any of the therapies they suggested seem to help?
No, of course no treatment has been effective for Michael. He really did get his forehead spread open, really did get a dollop of alien jizz in there, and really did go through a mirror into an alternate dimension to foil the plans of ancient aliens. I don't get what the problem is, Dr. Sims. Despite Mike's perfectly normal and coherent claims, the doctor insists on attempting a new type of treatment: hypnotism. The hypnotic state is an interesting combination of the dark world and Mike's memories about what happened the night of Rita's murder. As we know from earlier, there was an argument. Allow me to sum up this argument. I'm Mike Dawson and I have a headache, and I sure like bringing up the fact that I have headaches. I gotta go outside because I have a headache.
Damn, bitch, you always got a headache. You never want to do anything fun anymore.
Yeah, well, fuck you. You hang out with your book club too much. You've changed.
People change, Mike, but I don't care for the change that's come over you. You're drunk. I'll see you later. I have a friend to see.
Fine. Just walk away. I hope the boogeyman gets you. Whew. Why am I so dizzy? I bet the punch is spiked.
Is someone there? Don't play games. Mike? Is that you? Ah!
Mike? Are you awake? How's your headache now?
The hypnosis session manages to help Mike's headache subside. The doctor is very pleased with Mike's progress and is very optimistic that he's well on the path to a healthy and normal life. So he goes to the local carnival and agrees to help a depressed clown get his life-saving medication that is trapped in a cooler under an anvil. I don't know, Dr. Sims. I think you might have your work cut out for you.
You know, this is the strangest carnival I've ever seen.
You're telling me I'm relying on a suspected murderer to get me some life-saving medicine?
The carnival itself is kind of a puzzle hub. Inside are a bunch of games and sideshows. Most importantly is this hall of mirrors, but we'll get back to that. Behold, Minnie and Daisy.
Who are you?
I'm Minnie. This is my sister Daisy. We're Siamese twins. We're very, very close.
Minnie and Daisy apparently not only work as performers for the carnival, but they also designed the Hall of Mirrors attraction. Mike overshares to these two women that he just met for some reason.
I don't like mazes very much. I've had bad dreams about mazes.
Oh, this maze doesn't have to be a nightmare. It's actually quite easy if you have the key.
Shut up, Minnie! Don't say another word. It's forbidden!
A mysterious voice told the twins to build the mirrors attraction, and apparently whatever that voice is will get upset with them if they talk about it. They also write letters to dead people, so that's fun.
I'm writing the text of the postcards. We write to everyone. Jack the Ripper, Lizzie Borden, Genghis Khan.
And I'm addressing this one to Charles Dickens. What's your name? Maybe we can send one to you.
Where do you send these postcards? To the dead letter office?
Oh, that's very funny, sir. No, we send them to the local morgue. I'm sure they know where to forward them.
You can straight up lie to these two about Mike's name for his little postcard, and it goes nowhere and they don't believe it, but it's kind of funny.
So come on, hon. What's your name?
My name is Philip Marlowe.
Philip? You don't look like a Philip.
Come off it, pal. What do you take us for, a couple of bimbos?
In the next room is Gargon, the carnival's strong man. He clearly exists only to lift the heavy anvil. God made this man with a very specific destiny. Gargon is depressed. People just aren't interested in strongman acts anymore, and he fears he's going to lose his job.
Come on, Mr. Gargon. There's no reason to be so depressed. Life's not so bad.
That's a pretty bold claim coming from Mike, who was moping around all morning.
My life is a living hell.
Gargon is too depressed to help anyone, and he does not give a fuck if the sickly jaded clown perishes. Now, I would have to assume that if Gargon is the only person around that can lift the anvil, that he must be the one who put it on the cooler in the first place. So that's okay.
Mr. Gargon, won't you please lift that anvil so that I can get the clown's medicine?
I already told you! No! I'm through doing favors for people. No one ever does anything for me. Now stop interrupting my act.
I'm thinking this guy should maybe just go to a hospital or something.
How are you feeling?
Are you a moron or something?
I'm having trouble getting to your medicine. It's sealed up in the ice chest.
Some hero you turned out to be. Look, pal, if I don't get that medicine, I'm gonna die. D-I-E. Get it? I don't care how you do it, but open up that ice chest and bring me my prescription.
Last but not least is Pandora the fortune teller. You can show her your items and she kind of sort of gives you hints about them. Her snake also has a charming sound effect.
That sure is a big snake. Is he friendly?
Lucifer is very friendly to me. She is my familiar. She gives me my powers. Isn't that right, Loosey-goosey?
Meanwhile, Jack has been sussing out everyone around town. He's put together a personal list of top suspects that he recommends looking into. He suspects the sheriff because he and Rita used to date. Doc Larson, the mortician and well-documented sex pest, had her do deliveries for him. And in the not-so-distant past, she was seen cozied up next to the married Mayor Fleming in his car. Which means it's time for my favorite thing, getting in everyone's business.
I heard you used to date Rita.
Well, so what if I did? Rita was interested in lots of men. Jealous, Dawson? Is that what made you snap and kill her?
You know, if my talking animation looked like this, I'm not sure I'd be so smug.
Did Rita dump you because you couldn't satisfy her, Sheriff?
Why, you little turd. I'll have you know that I was the one who dumped her. She was too bookish. Always running off to spend time with that reading group of hers.
Oh my god, it's getting too messy in there for me. I'm going to the morgue.
I think there's someone making out inside, and it looks like they play pretty rough.
Oh my god, it's even messier in here.
I thought I heard someone making out back there.
That does it, Dawson! Get the hell out of my office!
This whole segment is really good and particularly entertaining because the whole point is to piss off Dr. Larson. But you need to piss him off enough that he takes a specific action. If you fail the dialogue tree, he gets mad and kicks you out, but you can just turn right back around and come in and he'll talk to you all over again. Maybe Doc Larson isn't so bad, he seems pretty quick to forgive.
Come on, Doc. Rita was a pretty girl, you're a charismatic guy. You two were having a fling, weren't you?
That does it, Dawson! Get the hell out of my office!
What we actually want is for him to get so worked up and angry that he slams his fists down on the counter, accidentally hitting the buzzer that opens the waiting room door, so we can take our sneaky little feets into the back.
Speaking of public institutions, I heard that you used to work for a hospital. Until you got fired, that is.
What? Who told you this?
Something having to do with seducing a patient, I believe. Boy, it would be a shame if that piece of news got around town. Why, you'd be finished around here, I imagine.
Don't threaten me, you little snot! Why, for 2 cents, I'd wring your neck! Get the hell out of my office and never come back!
In the back of the morgue, there's a dead guy. Shocking, I know. The dead man's name is Mark Danson, and he has a key. Turns out the conjoined twins from the carnival meant to send it to Mike Dawson, but close enough. Anyway, yay, now we have a key. Doc Larson's files also detail what happened to Rita's body. She was completely mutilated. The autopsy report uses a lot of words to say, damn, this bitch's head was cut off. Her eyes and tongue were also cut out.
Oh my god, that's Rita. Her head's been cut off.
Are we sure this is a murder? If I use my harvester logic, this could be death by natural causes. Why, you can't live without a head.
All in all, I'd say this was death by natural causes.
Natural causes?
You can't live without a
head,
son.
The last thing I need to put my little nose where it doesn't belong in is Doc Larson's address book.
This is full of women's names and telephone numbers. Oh my god! He gave Rita a 4-star rating. Why, that dirty old man. Hey, that's odd. Jimmy Gardner's phone number is listed too.
4 stars, huh? Is that out of 5 or... No, I shouldn't ask that. Also, you can just pop Rita out whenever you feel like saying hi to her.
Poor Rita. What monster could have done such a horrible thing?
The key that Mike took from the dead body lets him through a door in the Hall of Mirrors. This puzzle isn't particularly difficult, but it is kind of tedious.
I saw a mirror similar to this a year ago.
The Hall of Mirrors transports Mike to the Dark World just as it did in the first game. Immediately upon entering, a disemboweled and slowly dying Dark World woman comes up to him. I can't help but think about the Don't Be Afraid alien when I look at this thing.
Don't be afraid.
This mysterious glowing mirror lady calls herself the Keeper of Light. She says that Michael is the only one that can save the Dark World from the Ancients. Apparently, they have been terrorizing the Dark World and enslaving all of its inhabitants. Oh, and one more minor detail, they're drawing power to birth a creature that can destroy the world. In order to defeat them, he must collect the light, the scrolls, and the sword of this world, and then she dies. Natural causes, I presume. You can't live without bowels.
Another maze. If I really am in the Dark World, then this should be nearly identical to the Hall of Mirrors.
Darkseid 2 really enjoys making you go through the same exact maze. Over and over and over. I just can't wait to see what other great fun awaits us in this version of the Dark World. We do get to revisit some areas from the first game.
Hey, this is the design room from my first visit to the Dark World.
I also really want to talk about this specific Dark World location. The alternate version of the Civic Center is a really cool piece of Giger art. This painting is actually inspired by The Isle of the Dead by Arnold Becklin. What's so interesting about that, pray tell? It's inspired an infinite amount of art, and there's just something about it that possesses artists to want to paint and revisit it over and over and over again. These are all versions of the Isle of the Dead by Becklin. Giger himself even painted the image more than once. Funnily enough, this is the inspiration for the Cyberdreams logo in the beginning of the game. I mean, I'm assuming so anyway, it looks pretty similar. This is a really good choice of painting to include in Darkseid because it has very clear symbolisms and themes of crossing over or shifting into a different world. If you start to look for the Isle of the Dead in movies and games, you will start to see it, especially in games that involve some form of alternate worlds or allude to the crossing over of death a lot. I am physically incapable of going a single video without mentioning Silent Hill, oh my god.
Oh my god! That's Rita's head! It's happening all over again. The Ancients have returned!
The mystery deepens. Who killed Rita in the real world? How did her noggin end up in the Dark World, and why is it being used to power an ancient spaceship? As we know, everything in the Dark World has a real-world counterpart. These little fellas here are clearly the alternate version of Minnie and Daisy.
We will not tell you which of us is Ick and which is Uck. Because one of us is Ick and the other is Uck. Or it could be the other way around. We're not telling.
They are mischievous little fuckers. They do nothing but try and confuse you about which one is which. In order to pass them and go into the into the giant zipper, Mike will have to answer their riddle. They're like, haha, idiot, only a Dark Worlder would be able to tell if it's currently day or night. Do they have a lot of non-Dark Worlders coming through here that they need to check on that with? I mean, I guess Mike kind of looks like a human, but I feel like that would be uncommon. We'll come back to that. I'm more curious about the supposed giant creature the ancients are giving birth to.
This place reminds me of the hatchery from my first visit to the Dark World. Only this incubator is much bigger.
Ooh, he's kind of cute. And so are these guys. You know, maybe the Dark World really isn't so bad. Although Mike doesn't seem to agree with me.
What a hideous mechanism. This perverted joining of man and machine has got to be stopped.
The actual inhabitants of the Dark World seem pretty chill. Well, what few of them remain, that is. They're all pretty dead or depressed because of the way that the ancients have been treating them.
What is this place?
Why, it's the food hall, of course. Everyone knows that. But we don't have much food now. The deliveries have stopped.
I really almost started feeling bad for this guy because he's like,
But I stopped living in fear a long time ago. I've resigned myself to death.
I was like, oh, come on, man. Mike's gonna save the day. Things will get better. But then he did this.
Here's something to fill your belly, human.
What happened? Where am I?
Asking the bartender for a drink makes him kill you and send you to the underworld. Mind you, you cannot die here. This is Darkseid 2's soft lock. I had to backtrack a bunch and reload because it does not tell you that you get exactly one death in the game and you cannot use it here. Fuck that guy. There's a puzzle a little bit later on that sends you to prison. The only way out of the prison is to die, hence why you need that free death to use. You can mess up and die in a couple of other places as well. If you do die twice, you get this fun little bad ending.
Perhaps we keepers were wrong to put our faith in Mike Dawson. Too many times he has erred, giving the ancients time to hatch the behemoth. Once it came into contact with the normal world, the behemoth grew and grew until it enveloped the planet the humans call Earth. It sucked the very life force from the planet and renewed the energies of its masters, the ancients, for another eon. All is lost. All is lost.
I didn't make too many errors. You blindsided me with a soft block, you piece of shit fucking garbage ass game. In this little Dark World temple, a high priestess lore dumps on Mike for an absurd amount of time. The important bits of what she has to say is that the ancients are not part of the Dark World. They are invaders, just the same as if aliens showed up on Earth. The Dark World has existed alongside our world since the dawn of time, and it is of course a negative image of the normal Earth. What's good is bad, and what's bad is good. But it's not all bad, and it's not all good, just like the human world.
Now I understand why there are so many evil creatures here.
You have malevolent creatures in your own world too. Do not confuse madness with evil. Most of us want to live in peaceful coexistence with the normal world.
She also lets us know that under no circumstances can the average Dark Worlder cross the boundary into the normal world. Dark Worlders require the chaos of the Dark Realm to stay alive, while humans are more adaptable. Apparently, there are portals that humans can cross through all over the world, but no one really knows where they are. The ancients obviously can't really cross over either without a lot of preparation, so that begs the question. With all of this in mind, how the hell did Rita's noggin end up in the Dark World? Mysterious. Seriously though, this character goes on and on about lore. There's some general world building stuff like actions in the individual worlds usually affect each other but not always. Sometimes Dark World counterparts die or simply get lost, while normal world people are usually unaffected by this. Also, the Necronomicon is here. It has pictures of Michael in it.
Why, there's a picture of my old house in Woodland Hills. And here's a picture of me. This chapter is about how I stopped the ancients' first plan to conquer the normal world.
This brings Mike back to Ick and Uck. He really wants into that zipper.
The penalty for trespassing is imprisonment. However, killing is much more fun.
That's what would have happened if Mike didn't gather up information to answer their stupid bridge troll riddle. Inside the zipper is a wall of rancid-smelling babies guarded by a larger biomechanical machine gun baby that Mike feeds a glob of raw meat to. I yearn for a simpler time in this game where the weirdest thing I saw was a guy watering his lawn a little too much. Holy crap, Lois, it's the Keeper of the Scrolls. She's like, egads, the ancients are going to send that cute, sweet, adorable little seahorse fetus into the human world to destroy it as soon as it grows into the behemoth. Fortunately for us, we already know this because I got the bad ending. However, this does raise some valid questions.
But I thought the ancients weren't capable of entering the normal world.
This is true, but they have altered the genetics of a Dark World creature to create what is called a shapeshifter. A shapeshifter can assume human form and for brief periods of time enter the normal world.
What does this shapeshifter look like?
No one knows. The ancients have kept its identity a secret. The shapeshifter goes to your world and severs the heads of his victims.
That means someone in the town is a filthy no-good murderer and shapeshifter. The plot thickens. The shapeshifter needs a total of 4 human heads implanted into the generator to complete the ancients' plan. The Keeper of the Scrolls mentions some guy named Goth the Hermit that will know how to destroy the power station. The ancients have been wreaking havoc. As the story progresses, less and less random Dark World NPCs remain.
Oh my god! They've crucified the Keeper of the Sword! The Dreketh guard must have found out that the bartender talked to me and killed him.
Okay, well, the barkeeper deserved it a little bit. On the way to meet Goth the Hermit, Mike sees the Dark World versions of Melissa and Jimmy.
Keep away, you insect. I'm ventilating.
They're chilling in the alternate version of the pool hall. On the ceiling is a large, cumbersome device that Mike decides to take along.
This ego massager sure is heavy, but I think I'll be able to lug it around with me.
Fantastic, now we have a giant massager. Goth the Hermit is a spy aligned against the ancients. He is Slim's Dark World counterpart, and he has a butt vase. Goth was trampled in a rebellion against the ancients, and he isn't doing too well.
I don't know anything about Dark World biology, but this creature looks deathly ill.
He's in a lot of pain and desperate for Michael to get him some relief.
I am in great pain. But the medicines are gone. The drugs are no longer being manufactured. I need something to sedate me.
Great, now Mike has 2 characters in 2 completely different dimensions relying on him to deliver medication.
Please, hurry. I do not know how much longer I can cling to consciousness.
Alright, Mike, we gotta focus. That clown's been sick for a long time, and Goth isn't gonna hold on very long. Let's use the ego massager on Gargon to see if that helps him feel a bit more motivated.
I'm sure that snapped you out of your depression, Gargon. How do you feel?
Why, I feel great! I don't know what you did, kid, but it sure beats those pills I've been taking. I'm turning over a new leaf. No more feeling sorry for myself. No more rumors!
Gargon forks over the pills he's been taking since he doesn't need them anymore, which is great because then the other pills in the cooler can go to the clown. Well, never mind on that one, I guess, actually. The clown appears to be deceased.
I guess it's too late to get the clown's medicine. I guess no one's going to replace the clown at the ticket booth. This carnival doesn't seem to care much about making money.
Well, at least Goth and his booty vase are still kicking. Goth tells Mike that the sword, one of the 3 items he'll need to defeat the behemoth, is in the possession of the shapeshifter. But unfortunately, he isn't really sure who the shapeshifter is. He also warns that once the behemoth makes it through to the normal world, he'll become completely invincible.
Time is of the essence!
Time to dig a little deeper into our prime murder suspects.
There's Mayor Fleming. I've known him ever since I was a kid. He and my father were in the insurance business together.
So the mayor is actually a really good family friend of Mike's, and it's implied that he was even the one that found Mike's dad when he passed away. However, with people witnessing Rita all cozied up with him in his car, plus the fact that his wife is Mike's age, starts to paint a picture of someone that maybe, just maybe, is the type to let his cock lead his walk.
Well, Michael, you're only as young as you feel, and I prefer to feel young.
Who can blame a man for wanting to spice up his life with a little youth, huh?
When asked about the murder, he plays coy and says he really didn't know Rita well at all, aside from her doing a few jobs here and there to help his campaign.
But anyway, I'm due at a meeting in the courthouse and... Damn, I left my briefcase in the car. Oh well, I probably won't need it. So long, Michael. Stay out of trouble.
Fleming, you fool. You've left me unattended outside your vehicle with an entire fleet of random tools in my mysteriously large adventure game pockets. Give me that briefcase.
There's nothing inside the mayor's briefcase but a quarter and... Why, that dirty old man. He's got a collection of porno pictures. Oh my God! These are pictures of Rita! Why, you sanctimonious old bastard. No wonder you're so anxious to bring in outside help to solve the case. You don't want the locals to find out that you and Rita were having an affair. Wait till Jack sees this.
Okay, well that's actually kind of gross. I don't like that. The mayor could definitely have a motive to kill Rita, but is he the shapeshifter? On to our next suspect. Mike needs to snoop around a little in the sheriff's business, but how to get him out of the office?
Some guys are trying to kill me!
Yeah, right. Look, I'm getting mighty tired of you teenagers and your crank calls.
This part is kind of amusing because at the payphone, you can just endlessly attempt random prank calls to try to lure the sheriff outside. Eventually, though, Mike comes up with one that succeeds.
I want to report a robbery in progress. Come quick!
Who's being robbed?
The Dairy Freeze just outside of town.
Thanks. I'll be there in a jiffy.
Sheriff Butler, you fool.
It looks like the coast is clear. I can't believe that idiot fell for my trick.
You know, when Mike says it, it kind of makes me feel like maybe calling 911 and reporting a very possible common crime to get a police officer to go outside maybe isn't really all that big brain.
Here's a photo of Rita, and the glass is smashed like it was hit with a fist. And here's an old newspaper article. The headline reads, "Butler charges dropped." I knew it. Sheriff Butler was kicked off the Dallas police force because he was accused of accepting bribes. He was never convicted because the key witness was killed in a car accident. Wait till Jack sees this.
Mike meets up with Jack to discuss all of the suspects and their possible motives so far. They also throw in a new extra person to consider, Mrs. Ramirez, the woman whose husband mysteriously died in a fire.
Hey, what about Mrs. Ramirez? Her husband was seen with Rita just before he died.
Ah, the jealous wife angle. Well, that fire did leave her a rich widow, but the sheriff never could prove her involvement. I don't think you're going to have better luck.
Still, I'd like to follow up on it.
It's your life, but if I were you, I'd keep close tabs on the mayor and Doc Larson. Well, I'm out of here. Let me know if you find anything.
Should we really be considering a God-fearing, fresh widow of murdering Rita? I mean, if anything, she killed her husband, right? Time to question her.
Just how well did you know Rita?
Well, enough to know she tried to seduce my late husband. She was a harlot. She deserved what happened to her.
Oh, maybe she did do it. There's just so many suspects. I mean, what about all the other random people in town? What about Melissa?
I heard that Rita was seen in your husband's car shortly before her death.
Why, how dare you! Get the hell out of here!
Uh-oh. Local tough guy Jimmy doesn't seem to appreciate Mike putting Melissa in the hot seat.
You leave Melissa out of this, you hear? And as for Rita, she wasn't the innocent librarian you and a lot of others thought she was. She got around.
What do you mean Rita got around?
Look, Dawson, stop asking questions before you get hurt. Rita was damaged goods. Only you were too stupid to notice.
Up until this point in the game, it's just been implied that Rita was, shall we say, pretty involved with a lot of men in town. But here Jimmy just flat out confirms it.
I paid a visit to Doc Larson's office.
So what's that got to do with me?
I found a little black book listing you, Rita, and several other women.
I used to round up dates for Larson now and then, and your librarian friend needed some cash. I guess our public institutions don't pay their workers enough money.
What are you saying? Rita wasn't like that.
Then don't believe me. but it was Rita who came onto the dock, not the other way around. That girl was a real pro.
Maybe I should go.
Yeah, get out before I throw you out.
Mike actually has a difficult time coming to terms with this information. When he thinks of Rita, he thinks of the version of her that he knew a long time ago in high school. He's clearly quite fond of her and doesn't want these things to be true. However, pretty much every character you talk to in town seems to be aware that Rita had these proclivities. Mike is definitely a little bit naive to this situation. Jimmy being the bearer of bad news here puts him next on the list to be investigated.
I'm here to collect my final payment.
Quick, get in before someone sees you.
Come on, lady. You still owe me one last payment for the torch job. Fork it over.
You need to learn that patience is a virtue, young man. The money's been coming in slow from the insurance company, that's all. Here's the rest of what I owe you. Bless you for your help.
Mrs. Ramirez is handing Jimmy a wad of bills.
Ah, so Mrs. Ramirez paid Jimmy to kill her cheating husband in a fire in exchange for a chunk of the life insurance money. Rita was the woman that was involved with Mr. Ramirez, so it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to wonder if maybe Jimmy killed her too. All of these leads and negativity surrounding Rita get Mike pretty worked up, and he starts having another episode of headaches. This brings him to another appointment with Dr. Sims.
I've been having more dreams.
More dreams about your dark world?
I visited there again. The ancients are hatching a new plot against humanity.
Is that so? Just what are they planning to do?
They're trying to take over the Earth.
Mike, I think this fantasy of yours is getting out of hand. Let's have no more talk about the so-called ancients for a while.
These headaches are gonna kill me.
When did this last one begin?
A little while ago. I was out for a walk at the park. I stopped by the Ramirez mansion.
And what did you see?
Well, I'd rather not talk about it.
Mike, you're not going to get better unless you completely confide in me.
Another headache means another round of hypnosis. As we get closer to the end of the game here, things really start coming unglued. I mean, seriously, things really start getting weird.
Here's part of it. I'll have the rest tomorrow night when I can get to the re-election fund.
Make sure you do. This will be harder to get away with than torching that rich guy was. Boy, that Rita sure had a thing for other people's husbands.
Look! Up there, it's Mike Dawson. He's been listening in on us.
Dawson! Still sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. Just like your friend Rita. You want to end up dead like her and all her other friends?
Anybody hungry? How about some filet of brain? The gray matter is particularly tasty today. Just what makes us Dark Worlders strong and healthy. Hey, Mike! Your shoes are bleeding.
Oh, you're so gross, Mike. No wonder Rita would rather be with my husband than with you.
Mike talked throughout the hypnosis session for the doctor to hear. Dr. Sims asks why he's so upset with Jimmy.
I'm angry at Jimmy. He killed Mr. Ramirez for having an affair with Rita.
You're projecting, Mike. I think you're the one who was jealous of Rita.
Rita and I were just friends. We both saw other people.
You've never mentioned you had anyone else in your life, Mike.
Doctor, I think you're wrong about my feelings for Rita.
Well, maybe. But that's about all the time we have today. Give some more thought to what we discussed. And if your headaches return, see me.
Mike has this weird duality throughout the game where he constantly tells characters that he's not interested in Rita and that he doesn't really know her very well. But at the same time, he has so much nostalgia for her, and he gets super offended and upset if anyone says anything negative about her, but particularly if they imply that she was with other men. He also took her on a date to the reunion. It's a little bit hard to gauge his actual feelings on her. He meets up with Jack to tell him all about Jimmy and Mrs. Ramirez.
Well, before you go ripping somebody's head off, I'd check out their story. On my way over here, I saw Jimmy go into the pool hall. Why don't you go have a man-to-man with him?
But uh-oh, it looks like someone has beaten Mike to a confrontation with Jimmy.
I've been suspicious of you for some time, Jimmy Gardner. the liquor store robbery, the Lindbergh kidnapping, but now I'm convinced you murdered Rita Scanlon.
Listen good, Slim. I'm getting real sick of your crazy talk. Now shut your mouth before I shut it for you.
You don't frighten me none, Jimmy Gardner. This here letter proves you're a killer. They're gonna lock you up and throw away the key.
That does it, you loon. You stuck your nose where it doesn't belong, and now you're gonna pay for it.
Hey, stop picking on him, Jimmy. Put that gun away. Let's see if you're brave enough to take me on, man to man.
Wait, could we just real quick get a replay on those sound effects?
You okay, Mikey boy?
What happened?
I had a feeling you were spoiling for a fight with Jimmy, and I thought you could use some help. Looks like I was right. You can thank me later. I've got to run.
Wait a minute. Where did Slim run off to? Jimmy's knocked out cold.
Mike goes after Slim to make sure he's okay after the altercation. But first, he has the most important question in the game.
Why'd you run away when Jimmy pulled his gun? I thought your suit made you invulnerable.
My uniform doesn't cover my face, Mr. Dawson. Every power has its limits.
I'm sorry I couldn't have done more. I guess I'm not much of a fighter.
What are you talking about, Mr. Dawson? Why, you knocked Jimmy Gardner out cold.
I think you need glasses, Slim. I wasn't the one who saved you.
Some people think my head's a little screwed up, but my eyes are fine. From what I could see, you were a real hero in there.
Now, about that letter Slim claimed to have that started this whole ordeal. Apparently, he snatched the letter out of Melissa's purse. The letter, which was written by Rita, was a love letter to Mayor Fleming, Melissa's husband. Slim says that with this evidence, he knows for a fact that the killer is Jimmy because the night of the reunion, he saw Melissa give him a big wad of money. The context of this letter seals the deal. Has our mystery been solved?
Jimmy's gone. I've got to find him before he kills more people for the generator.
Jimmy Gardner is nowhere to be found, but thankfully he left his gun at the pool hall. This gun can be traded to the Dark World weaponsmith in exchange for something ridiculous. Now, if I were to ask you to think of 100 video game characters, and then I asked which character would be the coolest if they had a biomechanical machine gun arm, what character would you pick? Wrong, it's Mike Dawson.
Why, yes. This will do quite nicely. It's a trade, then. Here, let me attach your biomechanical arm.
Cool!
He, uses it to cheat at carnival games.
Hey! What the hell happened here?
I guess the trigger must have jammed. But I hit every target, so I think I still earned a prize.
Sheriff Butler is still out and about, and he has some shocking news.
That was some pretty nice shooting there, Dawson. You seem awfully handy with a weapon.
Oh, hello, Sheriff Butler. What brings you down to the carnival?
I'm just checking out the area, looking for suspects. I'm not surprised to find you here.
Look, Sheriff, I'm getting tired of you hounding me.
Well, you better start getting used to it. The mayor's been murdered.
Mayor Fleming's been murdered?
My God, Jimmy hath struck again. Mike warns the sheriff about Jimmy and tells him all about the love letter.
All right, Dawson, I'll talk to Jimmy about this letter. But stick around in case the feds or I have any more questions for you.
The shocking news of another murder has Mike really shook up, and it causes yet another massive headache. The patented Mike Dawson headaches are increasing in frequency, and even Dr. Sims is surprised to see him back so soon. He tells the doctor he's so distressed because the mayor's been murdered.
I heard, Mike. Doc Larson told me that he had performed the autopsy.
Doc Larson? That pervert.
Why do you say that, Mike? Are you jealous of the relationship he enjoyed with Rita?
It's not that. I told you before I wasn't jealous of Rita.
Of course, Mike. Of course.
It's my fault, Dr. Sims. I know who the killer is, but I let him escape.
Don't blame yourself, Mike. Capturing criminals is the responsibility of the police.
You don't understand. The Keeper of the Scrolls chose me to stop the Ancients.
Mike, you really must resist these fantasies about the Dark World. There's no shapeshifter going around and murdering people.
Buckle up. Are you ready for the weirdest hypnosis sequence yet?
Welcome back, folks. Our guest today on Let's Make a Death is Mike Dawson. How are you, Mike?
Okay, I guess. What's going on, Paul?
It's your lucky day, Mike. You get to choose one of 3 holograms and learn something about this mystery you're trying to solve. Which hologram will it be?
Hologram number 1, please.
Hologram number 1 is the lovely Rita Scanlon, alive and well.
Mike, you're so wrapped up in your own little world. He didn't kill me. You know, you really ought to read more. I could have helped you like I did Mr. Ramirez, the mayor, and Doc Larson.
Ouch! Not quite the reunion you hoped for, was it? Choose another hologram.
Hologram number 2.
Hologram number 2 is the not-so-honorable Mayor Fleming. You know, Mike, you and Rita just didn't have the right kind of interest. You just didn't click the way she and I did, if you know what I mean. Oh boy, I think I got the picture. And so did you, Mike, when you found those photos of Rita in the mayor's car. I bet that got your engine running. Choose another hologram.
Hologram number 3.
Hologram 3 is a real smooth operator, Doc Larson.
Rita didn't have much time for you, Mike, but she somehow found time to bring me my medical textbooks. You don't suppose that got her interested in playing doctor, do you? Are you jealous, Mike? That's what you get for sneaking into my office and stealing my little black book.
That must have been a bitter pill to swallow. I'm sorry, Mike. There's no prize for you in any of the holograms, but we do have a lovely parting gift for you. All the hardware you'll ever need. A beautiful set of steak knives, sharp enough to cut again and again and again.
Mike, are you awake? How do you feel now?
Again, the doctor is somewhat aware of what Mike saw during his hypnosis. Mike is convinced that Rita in the dream telling him that Jimmy didn't kill her must be a cold hard fact. He then jumps to accusing Paul, the lawn watering guy, of being Rita's possible murderer because he appeared as the dream's host.
It's all so confusing. Maybe Jack can make sense of it.
I really wish you'd stop seeing this Jack fellow. I think he's bad for you.
Damn it, Dr. Sims, stop bad-mouthing Jack.
Please, Mike, calm down.
I'm sorry, Dr. Sims. Jack's my only friend.
Dr. Sims does his best to be patient with Mike, but at this point he has to keep reminding him about reality and that it's really not up to him to be solving this murder mystery. I mean, especially since he's accused or suspected literally everyone in the entire town at this point. Wait a minute, except Dr. Sims? Suspicious. Upon leaving the doctor's office, Mike gets a surprise visit.
Excuse me, Mike Dawson? Special Agent Gannon, FBI. May I have a word with you?
Excuse me, sir, did you say that your name was Gannon?
You're not leaving until I get some answers from you.
Why are you talking to me?
I'll ask the questions, Dawson. I'm the cop. You're the suspect. Got it?
The FBI agent says that Mike is suspected of killing both Rita and the mayor. The mayor's time of death was placed by Doc Larson just after he and Jimmy's fight. Mike, of course, insists that it's not him, but the agent says that he's seen Mike's psychiatric reports and knows that he is, quote, nutty as a fruitcake.
You're nutty as a fruitcake.
The agent knows all about what happened to Mike and the Ancients the year before. Well, he knows what Mike claims happened anyway. Michael really doesn't help his case and starts arguing that everything with the aliens is true and real, and that the people that he personally suspects are psychos.
Right, Dawson. Everybody's a psycho but you. No wonder Rita dumped you. Is that why you killed her?
I loved Rita. I didn't touch her.
Oh yeah? It sure sounds like everyone else did. She dressed up in leather for the mayor. She was doing the nasty with Doc Larson. But nothing for poor Mike. Makes you mad enough to kill, doesn't it?
Oh no! I think I'm really in trouble. I need to talk to Jack.
Realizing the severity of what he had just done, Mike runs back home to have a chat with Jack, hoping that his best friend can share some insight on what to do next.
I hit an FBI agent.
Smart move, Ace. Why'd you do that?
I got angry. He made some comment about Doc Larson and I just flipped out.
I can't blame you, Mike. The idea of him and Rita together would drive me crazy too, not to mention Mayor Fleming.
Jack is sympathetic and understanding to Mike getting frustrated with an FBI agent accusing him of a murder, but he makes it clear that even he is starting to see his situation as hopeless. There was already credible reasons for the police to suspect Mike, and now he's assaulted an officer on top of that. Mike starts doing what he did with Doc Sims and begins to throw out random accusations in desperation, again trying to convince someone that Paul the lawn guy is the murderer because Mike had seen him in a dream.
Man, you're losing it. Instead of grasping at straws, you should be putting your affairs in order. Look, I'll be a character witness for you at the trial, but I think I've outlived my usefulness here. Take care, Mike.
Back in the dark world, Mike checks the power generator and notices an extra head. Doc Larson has been added to the collection. This means that the shapeshifter only needs one more head to awaken the behemoth. With the mayor and Doc Larson dead, Mike's obsession with seeing Paul in his dream leads him to break into his house, convinced he's going to find evidence.
Hey, what happened to the water?
And by break in, I really mean he just turns off the hose and walks in the front door.
Oh man, this is too weird for words. There's no doubt that Paul is crazy enough to be a killer. Now I have to find some hard evidence to connect him to the murders.
Turns out that the home of a guy that waters his lawn all day every day is quite strange inside. Maybe Paul is the shapeshifter. There's certainly something up with him.
Paul must have all sorts of dirty little secrets hidden in these drawers.
Paul's bedroom seems relatively normal at first, aside from the giant neon cactus and stack of checks made out to pay the water bill. But wait! A secret passage.
Oh my god! Paul's house contains a dark world portal. I was right. He is the shapeshifter.
On the table is the Necronomicon from the Dark World, which chronicles Mike's defense against the Ancients, so I'm a little surprised that Paul hasn't brought that up, but okay. Photos line the walls of the secret room. Photos of Doc Larson, the mayor, Paul, and Rita all together wearing black robes. The book is open to a page describing a messenger being sent to cleanse the Prime World.
Keep your unclean hands off my things, Mike. You're here to stop the messenger from coming, aren't you? Well, then you shall be the first to be cleansed.
Paul, do you want me to call a doctor?
Mike, don't bother helping me. I'm sorry I attacked you. The voices told me to kill you. They tell me many things.
Paul rambles on for a while, pretty calmly might I add considering that he just got stabbed, about how he and the others are part of an otherworld cult. He says that the shapeshifter has been killing and taking the heads of the cult members because their minds were prepared for the world's cleansing.
You mean to tell me you aren't the serial killer?
Of course not, Mike. I could never have done such things. Only one as great and pure as the messenger can perform such deeds. I knew my time would come soon.
The Otherworld cult began with Paul and Rita using books to try and contact the dead. When they succeeded, they pulled in other members. Now, when they say they contacted the dead, one has to assume that they actually contacted the Dark World.
Paul, you're starting to look awfully pale.
Everything's growing
dark. Oh my god, I killed him! Paul was obviously the shapeshifter. I don't care what he said. But who's going to believe me without any proof? The police will just say that I was jealous of him too. One thing's for sure. I've got to get out of here before someone finds me with the body.
Mike pulls the alarm inside Paul's hardware store as a distraction for the officer guarding Rita's house. Inside the house are a few interesting items. First, a letter written by Rita.
Dear Mom, not much happening lately. I went out with Mike Dawson the other night. He's a nice guy, but he has some emotional problems. In fact, he's starting to act like a sick puppy around me, and I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt him.
Why, that bitch? She was never really interested in me. She was just toying with me.
In a few minutes, I'm off to my reading group meeting across the street at Paul Cooper's house. Now he's somebody I'm really attracted to. Tall, handsome, and good at fixing things around the house.
I'm glad I killed that creep.
Mike's feelings about Rita are all over the goddamn place. Everything Dr. Sims was saying about his feelings appears to be correct. Mike is definitely possessive over Rita and definitely interested in her. Inside Rita's room, Mike starts to really lose his shit.
I've never been in Rita's bedroom before. It's not what I imagined it would look like.
You thought you had everything pretty much figured out, didn't you, Mikey boy? Well, I'd stop while I was ahead if I were you. The truth can be very ugly.
Rita had a voucher for a free fortune-telling from Pandora at the carnival. Mike hands over the voucher and his reading reveals a memory from his childhood.
Mikey, there are no monsters in the closet. There's nothing there but an old dusty mirror. But I'll tell you what, I'll lock this closet forever so that nothing can get through it. I have an invisible key to the closet. Now watch.
Remember in the very beginning of the game where it was mentioned that Mike's closet was locked, and I thought it was weird that someone wouldn't be able to get into their own closet? There you have it.
Mom, why didn't you ever tell me that my closet door was never really locked?
Oh my goodness, Mike, that was years ago. Don't tell me you've been afraid of your closet since then.
I'm starting to get a headache.
We're in the final stretch of the story here. It's time to see what's inside Michael's mystery closet.
The fortune teller was right. This closet was never really locked after all. So that's what's inside. A mirror. Could this be another portal into the dark world?
It could indeed be a portal to the dark world. The closet portal takes Mike directly to the otherworld version of his bedroom. And this bedroom has some shocking implications.
This looks like the shoebox I keep my good shoes in. My shoes. And my mom's butcher knife. They're covered in blood. That could only be the sword of justice. This must be the shapeshifter's home.
Are you starting to put together the twist?
I'm back in my own kitchen. But I didn't pass through any portal. What do you know about my shoes getting bloody?
Here, Mike, this will explain everything.
This can't be real. Oh, Mommy, I hope you're okay.
Rita's head appears over the boiling pot and starts talking to Mike. She tells him that he's the savior of humanity and must put an end to the behemoth that she and her cult unleashed by contacting the Dark World. Mike, for some ungodly reason, decides to bring up the reunion ticket that she dropped, the one that Slim found and gave to Mike earlier on. Rita is like, oh, yeah, that wasn't my ticket. That ticket was dropped by the killer.
Are you saying that the shapeshifter invited you to the reunion too?
Your jealousy is clouding your mind again, Mike. That was always the problem between us, and it will lead to your downfall.
Mike is kind of stupid. Rita was all over all of the characters in town because she was trying to convince them to join her cult. She wanted to convince the sheriff and Mike to join, but they both have emotional and intelligence problems. Rita warns that her head being in the generator has her mentally connected to the ancients, and she can tell that the behemoth is currently hatching. There is no time to waste. So Mike stops for a second to admire a toilet.
This toilet really does look like a throne.
Surprise, surprise, guess whose head is now in the generator as well?
That's Paul! He wasn't the shapeshifter after all.
The last noggin in the generator means that the behemoth is now free from its incubator. The developers thought it would be great fun to put you in the Hall of Mirrors with it and watch you race it to the portal. Spoiler alert, it is not fun. The only way to stop the monster at this point is by stabbing it with the Sword of Truth. This makes for a truly excellent fight scene. Mike Dawson is the coolest action hero. Well, killing the behemoth didn't really seem too bad. The final task in the game is for Mike to destroy the Ancient's power generator. Once it explodes, all that's left is the completely insane final scene, which I will shut up and let you watch in peace. Enjoy.
Michael, you've done it. You've defeated the Ancients. You have saved our people and yours. Michael.
Hey, wake up, Mikey boy. Hey, wake up, Mikey boy. You've been out of it for a little while.
Where am I? I thought I just blew up a spaceship.
You were in Dr. Sims' office, don't you remember?
What happened to Dr. Sims? He's been stabbed.
You don't remember, Mikey boy? We killed him. He was getting in the way.
What do you mean we killed Dr. Sims?
Don't you get it, Mikey boy? You and me, we're both one and the same.
What are you talking about? Wait a minute. I get it. You're the shapeshifter.
You're wrong again, Mikey boy. In case you haven't figured it out, I don't exist at all. I'm you, and you are me, and we're all together. Get it?
No, I don't get it. How can you and me be the same person?
I'm your dark world counterpart, Mikey. A manifestation of your own sick mind. If you don't believe me, grab the knife and try to kill me. Come on, Mikey boy, give it a try.
We're too late. I should have never let myself be fooled by that letter Dawson gave me.
Oh, I don't know about you, but I feel sick. I never seen anything so horrible.
Oh, looks like Mike offed the doctor and then offed himself. What a mess. Well, at least it's all over now.
I still can't believe it. Mike Dawson, a serial killer.
He was sure busy the last few hours. Killed Mayor Fleming, Doc Larson, Paul Cooper, and his psychiatrist all in one day.
One thing's for sure. I'm gonna be having a few nightmares myself over this one.
I don't even know what to say about this development, but Jack does kind of hint at a third game. Maybe we'll get Darkseid 3 someday.
Oh, Mike, there's no need to thank me for returning your mom's butcher knife to you. It's the least I could do for ruining the Ancients' plans again. Well, as they say, the third time's the charm.
And Jack rides off into the sunset of the dark world on his motorcycle. The end. And what the fuck?
See you around, pal.
And that, for the most part, is Darkseid 2. I really enjoyed this game. I think it was a ton of fun, and I absolutely loved the super weird murder mystery angle that they decided to add. However, I'm not entirely sure if I think it's a good sequel to Darkseid. It's got the Giger art, but it's also so wildly different in almost every other aspect. My favorite thing about this game is that if you go back and play through it again, or just look at the story beats again, you'll notice that the game told you that the killer was Mike and that Jack didn't exist the entire time. For example, Jack always has an excuse not to go places with Mike where other characters might need to perceive him, like not being able to go to the diner with him because of the jukebox incident. In the one scene where we do see Jack interact with other characters, the scene where he punches Jimmy in front of Slim, Slim insists that it was Mike that saved him. Mike tells him he needs to get his eyes checked, and we as the player just write it off because Slim is portrayed as crazy. Dr. Sims also continuously insists that Jack is a bad influence on Mike, but he has to walk on eggshells around that subject because Mike is so convinced that he's his actual real best friend. Now, on the topic of Jack's existence, the creator stated that it's left intentionally vague. Jack says that he's Mike's Dark World counterpart, but no one seems to be able to perceive him. At the end of the game, the sheriffs clearly can't see him standing there. He could just be a delusion, but if that's the case, why are we shown him riding off into the sunset of the dark world? Then there's the question of Mike's sanity. Were the aliens messing with his brain and forced him to do what he did, or is he just actually a psycho? Do the aliens even exist? But then again, if it was the ancients controlling him, why did he blow up their ship? Does the dark world even really exist? In the first game, it's clear that the previous owner of the house experienced the dark world, but Mike is such an unreliable narrator that he could have just been making all of that up as well. The only time that we see the dark world interact with the real world in any way that is perceived by anyone but Mike is when the ego massager is used on Gargon and it works. There's so much theorizing that one could do about what is and isn't real in this game, and I think that's fun. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to check out the channel for more old games and their stories. If you really enjoyed, consider checking out the Ko-fi link below to help support the channel. Any likes, comments, and subs also really help out and are super appreciated. There's also a link to a Discord server where we play games, have tournaments, and chat. Click the link. See what happens.
Welcome to the Early Nerds. Be careful of Early, she bites.